Let's do it. I don't know. I don't know if the guy. I don't know if the guy that I want to see will be in this. So we'll just check it out though. So there's some multiplayer. Okay, looks. I actually kind of like that screen actually, but let's keep going. Oh, this is the alpha. Okay.
Z, you want to start? Well, let me ask you.
Yeah, ask me.
What about this game feels familiar versus what things feel different when it comes to like grunt perspective?
I think what's crazy is
So this is the studio gameplay director. Okay. Well, hopefully he gives the gameplay actually a good difference.
this feels like making a World War II game sometimes.
Okay. I don't know how because it's Modern Warfare, but well, okay. Let's assume that they're trying to make a. Okay, let's use this as a perspective. Sorry, I haven't had alcohol in a while, so I drink. But let's use this as a perspective of what he's saying here. If they're making a World War II game, is it solely a good bad, or is there some levels of gray, and is there some nuance here? Like, are we gonna humanize the enemy, or are we gonna just demonize them? So that's what I mean by if it's a World War II game, because the question is then, are you showing both sides? Or are you showing one side? It's the same criticism that a lot of people have about Gettysburg, the movie from 1993, is that, it's Southern propaganda. Well, it's a movie showing both sides of the war, both perspectives. It's just Confederate side and them rationalizing why they're fighting, versus the Union side and why they're fighting, So in this game, are we solely seeing, like, South Korea, US, and again, how's that working to the Price killing, Shepherd thing kind of thing? Because again, if you're saying, oh, this guy was solely bad, there's, he and everything he does is evil, or is it, is he going to be a cartoonish villain, or is he actually going to be a villain with character development? That's what I'm trying to argue here.
This is our opportunity for Big War to bring it back and do it the modern warfare way. And to us, that means a large-scale battle reclaiming a city.
All of it's visceral, all of it's gritty, it's all grounded and ripped from the headlines, but we get to experience it in a variety of different ways.
Who's this?
Hey, but we get to experience it in a variety of different.
So this is the narrative director. Okay, I thought Brian, what's his name? Brian Bloom, I think. Is he still working on the story? Because that's why I want to know. Because he worked in the last two games, plus Modern Warfare 3, but I can talk about that. But I just didn't want to know. Well, I guess he was one of the writers, I guess. This guy's the native director. Again, when he says strip straight from the headlines, what does that mean? Because a lot of the headlines, are one-sided, but we'll see.
We need to go back to the call.
Hedge me. Okay, yeah. So this looks like a level. So you have bunker, a pond, hedge maze. So it looks like you're gonna be. Here's a building because there's a pillar hall, pillar room, dining hall, balcony, and then there's a courtyard with a mate. Oh, this is Grigsby.
That's what the Call of Duty came about. It was like it was your duty to serve your
country. I'll see if it's in this video.
Your duty to fight in the war for your country. So this time around, we were like, all right, we're gonna be in Korea. It's North versus South. What better place to go back to the roots of what Call of Duty is than that conflict?
I mean, technically, Call of Duty. Well, if we talk about the roots, maybe World War II. Okay. Again, it wasn't very nuanced. You know, it was one. You know, it's saying this guy's bad, this guy is good. Modern Warfare made it to where it was, you know, this is Modern Warfare. This is what is perceived as bad. This is what is perceived as good. This is what is perceived as strong and which is weak. And sometimes that flips on its head, you know. But Focus Group was one of the original developers, so from Call of Duty 4. So I think him as studio head is a good direction for the studio. I think so. Let's just keep going.
We dug into pretty hard the history of, you know, North and South Korea, the reason that there's a, you know, divide in the first place.
And now we're getting to go back to that like actual like huge forces in direct conflict.
Now, I don't keep stopping because this is a 9-minute video, which I have another 8-minute video to watch. But I do want to, I want to know what he means by, like, I want to know what he means by, going to the history. You know, we're talking about like all the way back to like the Cold War history, 1950s history to present day. You know, we're talking about, you know, it's gonna be political discussion about like THAAD, you know, because I know at least from 2020 to now, you know, THAAD missile systems have been a huge contentious topic for Korean politics, you know, and this conflict. You know, they're gonna talk about, you know, how the Korean administration is trying to push away from the United States, you know, and maybe become more friendly with China, you know. So we'll see. You know, the local elections going now, you know, so maybe things might change in this game. They are kind of in development. The game's been in development since 2022, so at least 2023, early 2023. So you know, they've had a presidential election, they've had a legislative election. Right now they have a local elections. So how is this? So how is that all gonna? Is that gonna be influential in the game? You know. So that's my general question when they mean, did you do, you know, when they say, oh, history of the game or history of the conflict, you know, because the conflict still never technically ended. It was just a ceasefire. They never officially ended the conflict, so it's still going on today. So, you know,
like 2 actual modern militaries.
Like what is big war?
What is big war?
What is
right?
big? And you ask a person, like everybody has a different identity of what big war is.
You can imagine the powder keg that's underneath, you know, this place inherently. It's built in, unfortunately, but you know, we got to explore that.
When I was growing up, that was still very real, and so our campaign levels definitely adds that threat looming feeling to actually happening. So this story kind of is like, what if?
The city of Hajin is a really important aspect of the story overall. When conflict breaks out on the Korean Peninsula, this is where the conflict happens. North Korea invades this place first and takes this place.
South Korea and North Korea was kind of part of the main story point of the single-player mission. So our aim is to make sure that we relive the experience for the players and be able to portray that and then show the aftermath of the story that would happen in the single player.
It's a place where our main characters, a lot of them live. It's what they call their home. And we were really inspired to make sure that this place was as accurate as possible, make sure the people that were in.
I will say from the trailer, this looks like this is a gorgeous game. Like, I remember when I first saw, like, you know, when they released the trailer, I saw it on Instagram. I legit thought this was like some like. I thought this was like a live action teaser for Call of Duty, in Korea, because looking at this game, it looks gorgeous. It makes me feel like I'm watching a live action like K-drama, like in this grocery store. Obviously, it's a war show, it's a war game, but you know what I'm saying is the fidelity of this game looks amazing. So
inhabiting it were as grounded and realistic as possible.
You know, I was able to dug up some of the old photos and references that I've actually lived in. These are some of the areas where you would find in the entertainment districts or some of the apartment sprawl districts.
Okay. 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 So talking about Hajin, I think that's what he said. Was it Hajin, right? Also, I think he's talking about Soul right now. So he talks about entertainment. He was like Gundam, apartment districts. I'm not sure what he means by that. I don't think maybe maybe well I want to say London, but I think London's a market unless that's an actual district. It's been a while since I've actually memorized the different districts of Seoul. I just know Gundam is the kind of entertainment district, Itaewon's, the international district, so maybe, I'll talk about that a little bit, maybe. Let's see.
We went from the initial concept stages and pre-productions, and then looking at the global art direction for the goal of the game.
저 집들을 싹 비워라. 모두 밖으로 내보내. 알겠나?
Dude, it's crazy to me because like when I hear like Japanese now, Korean, it's just I've watched so many K dramas, that like even like like in Korean anime, like lookism, I'm so used to hearing. And I took it. I wasn't good at it, but I took it. But it's so ingrained in my like what I watch like every day that even though I can't, I don't, I need subtitles to understand it. It's just the sound of the language. The pronunciation, the phonetics of it. It just sounds so natural to me. So I'm just like, oh, it's Korean, yeah. I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, okay. Now this guy looks familiar. This looks like one of the actors, like one of the famous actors in Korea. But I'll have to do a little bit of research into that.
The narrative team and Grigsby, they have dialogue coaches and they have their lines, and we got to review every single line to feel like if this person is from the southern region of South Korea, then they need to have a specific dialect. We needed to make sure those elements are there.
Okay, so they actually are. Okay, so they're actually digging into like the different dialects. Like there's a Seoul dialect, there's a Busan dialect, there's a South Gyeongsang dialect, there's a South Jola, North South Jola. Yeah, Gwangju dialect. I don't think I pronounced that right, but I'm sorry to call them Korean people. But what I'm saying is, they have a Daegu dialect. So if I got from Daegu, he's gonna have a different dialect than let's say a guy from Busan. I know they're both in the south, but they both each have a different dialect. So, I mean, like I said, I'm not one to be like, oh, I can tell the difference. I just know that they exist. Like Seoul, apparently, it's like it's like in America, in the United States, you have a southern accent, you have a northern accent. In the south they say y'all, and northeast they say, well, I don't say northeast, but at least in Philadelphia they say water. It was like hoagie versus sub. Maybe something like that. Again, I know it exists. I just don't know how. I just don't know the details of it. So, but the fact that they actually mentioned that a southern South Korean speaker sounds different than a Seoul area South Korean, it makes me excited. It makes me feel like they're actually putting in the effort to actually, they're actually doing, like I said, they're doing the research. I'm actually generally impressed by that.
Like it makes us get immersed into it because their lines are so good and their emotions through the acting is so good that we were like, we bought it right away.
Right.
잠깐만. 야, 이거 누구야?
Okay, and this is gonna be my thing. Are they going to actually, like in the game? Because this thing, I played Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yote, which I'm playing right now. Not obviously for the channel because because it's always on PS5, and I don't, and they even stream PS5 stuff. I have to pay for PSN Plus or PSN Plus, or PS Plus, which I'm not doing. So, but my question is, when I play those games, right now my Metro series, I'm playing it in Russian with English subtitles. Are they going to be speaking Korean in the game? Now I know it's called a game, and they speak English, but my question is, and frankly, speak decent English, especially in the military. But my question is, like in this scene right here, let's go back.
he bought it right away.
뭐야? 잠깐만. 야, 이거 누구야?
You know, he's saying, check on. You know, again, I'm not good with the dialect, speaking it, but anymore. It's been years since I attempted to speak it. But, you know, that's gonna be you know, that's not them just recording for the Korean dialogue, right? Or like the you know, recording Korean lines. You know, that's actually that's gonna be like the standard line. It's gonna be subtitled, obviously, because that's what I like to hear. That's what gets you immersed. You know, is that you're in Korea, they're speaking Korean. That's why I played Metro, you know, in Russian. It's in Russia. They speak Russian. That's why I played Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotei in Japanese. That's why I played Ghost of Tokyo playthrough. I played it in Japanese subtitles. I felt immersed in the game because they're speaking Japanese in Ghostwire Tokyo. I'm playing with English subtitles, but I feel immersed in the world because I'm not using the English dubbed. That's what I put on. I'm using it with the Japanese dub. You know, in a game that takes place in Tokyo. You know, I feel immersed that way.
파.
우탱.
형, 나도 들어보자.
기회 들어가는 거다. 입
Hey,
아니고.
hey, fellas, I don't got my subtitles on. Speak my language.
Okay, I answered my own fucking question. I should have just played it. Guys, I have my subtitles on. Okay, that's what I'm saying. You feel immersed when they're speaking Korean, you know?
Please?
If we can look at this, I actually wanted to see how many people we have in here, like in the blockout.
2, 3, 4, 5.
So 8 total? Yeah, I think we'll probably need to do more like 12 because this has to be.
At least I want to go back to, because my video player.
8 total? Yeah, I think we'll probably need to.
My Windows video player doesn't show me this anymore. I think I can show you guys. I might be able to show you guys. So when I bring up this, I'm trying to open my footage of me reacting to another video. No, it shows off my own screen. But when I opened it, as you can see, it says cannot open. It's usually unsupported coding. At least the Infinity Words works. If you guys have any way to do that for me, please let me know. But like I said, if Infinity Word has at least the video, you know, the Windows Media Player actually works.
Do more like 12 because this has to be a battle. Like this has to be like my guys might go like, oh,
flank
fuck.
over on the side,
and then yeah, exactly. This is a little more complicated than some of the other ones, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
One of the things that makes Modern Warfare 4 unique is it has multiple story threads. We get to experience different threads of the story through different characters and how they resolve the conflict that they come across. In South Korea, conscription is mandatory, which means all young people have to go into military service. We wanted to use that as...
And that's why I'll never piss off a Korean male. And I'm gonna go back.
Which means all young people have...
You see, when he says young people, he really means young males. Women, if I remember correctly, I don't know if they changed it. But last time I had information on it, it was only the conscription was only for males. So when it means young people, it really means young males. Okay. Now don't take this. Now don't turn into some culture war bullshit. But I'm just saying, South Korea, regardless of political ideology, political party, a lot of it, even on the liberal side, is still very conservative. So I'm gonna say men. But well, you is young men. Does that mean I don't think he's doing his research? I think he's still doing his research. The fact that even, you know, in the sense that Korea has a conscription and is actually delving into the game as a narrative director is, I think, impressive.
To go into military service. We wanted to use that as a starting point for our character Park. He starts as a grunt who would rather be doing something else, and when war breaks out, he's forced to make a decision about how he's going to respond to that.
Just starting from that of like the value of choice or not having choice.
Is that far in the background? That's pretty cool.
And for Park, it's I think the line we used was like, or they didn't give me the option to sign up. They just told me when to show up.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But he decides how he leaves. As the story starts to unfold, it goes from I'm just hazing a new guy and doing my daily stuff to, okay, now I have to figure out how I'm going to help keep myself and my guys alive. And we get to see that kind of play out through all these different, harrowing situations. Like your city is being bombarded. You're, just running from space to space as North Koreans are, falling and literally dropping in from the sky. You know, and so it's just like, you've never fired your gun at another person before. What does that feel like? What are you going to do mentally to, you know, to prepare yourself for, like, no, it's time to, you know, it's time to initiate combat, right? Like that's a tough decision to make. And so I think that was an interesting place to go with someone who didn't ask for this, who didn't sign up, you know, for a war, but is faced with fighting through one.
Modern Warfare 4 brings us into new emotional territory because of some of the experiences.
I want to read this real quick. The final report details the successful operation of the covert special officers mission aimed at preparing a black hat hacker for with transferring sensitive information to ultra supremacy group. Okay.
That the characters have been through.
5-Eye Alarm Special. Huh.
Some of the choices that they made that they can't come back from. We get to build on a foundation that makes this.
Again, I feel like even if Infinity Ward had that story, those story things for, like, if Modern Warfare 3's story was actually supposed to be a DLC, you know, still those open-ended missions with all that stuff, you know, or if it was just those missions, those few missions like the airport and all that, you know, tied together into in a expansion DLC, and this was Modern Warfare 3. I feel like Infinity Ward probably would have done the story a lot better justice than what Sledgehammer did in Modern Warfare 3. Again. However you want to, again, this is all opinion on who you think is a better developer. I think Infinity Ward would have done a better job with the Modern Warfare 3 story, because it technically is their baby. But Activision wants Sledgehammer to do Modern Warfare 3 storyline, so whatever.
New chapter, something we've been building towards for a long time, and a story that we're really passionate about telling.
Something like this. I think we'll turn this more into just like a full-on, like, as though it were a work table,
workbench.
all the way, workbench across.
Yeah, when we first met Price in 2019, he taught us that a soldier draws the line wherever they need it. You know, we get dirty and the world stays clean, right? And I think people found that enticing at the time. That was a different way to look at what the good guy is, or what the good guy has to do to make the bad guy scared of the dark. But here we are in Modern Warfare 4, and what is the evolution of that, right? Where do you take that to the end of the line? Right now with Price, you know, this is an operator that essentially, you know, after the events of the last game, has turned into an outlaw, right? He doesn't have the same, you know, security apparatus that he had. He doesn't have the same tools necessarily of his trade, but you know, he's the type of man that's going to find, you know, the best tool for the job, no matter what he has to do. And we're going to see really kind of how far he's willing to go in this game. You know, what lines he's willing to cross.
We are just as excited to see where these characters get to go as we are for people to experience it. If Valeria starts back here and goes
Valeria's
up to there,
back.
I guess, right?
Is Alejandro back?
Something like that. So they get out of the helicopter.
Yeah.
They open the door. She's like talking to him like, yeah, you better not miss it. And then they all get out and come up, and then we land here.
Modern Warfare is synonymous to Infinity War, and we
Yes.
make it what it is.
You know, I think that's what I think Crispy said, Chris. It is Infinity Ward. Warfare is Infinity Ward. That's why I think Warfare 3, despite its awful campaign, I think would have been better done by Infinity Ward. And I will stand and die on that hill. I don't care what these big YouTubers say, that these big COD YouTubers say, you know, about it. I think it would have been done better justice by Infinity Ward. That's all I'm gonna say. So,
it is for millions of people across the world. So, for me, everything that we do and everything that we put in our game has to feel authentic.
Who the characters are, the conflict they're thrown into, and the ways that they resolve that conflict is integral to what Modern Warfare is.
And putting the player right in the middle of it.
Putting the player right in the middle of the action.
So that was the first video. I generally am excited for the game. I will talk about it later. But this is the multiplayer philosophy, and this is where I'm really interested in. I know people are skeptical of the game multiplayer because of the last couple of games. As some YouTubers point out, Modern Warfare 2 didn't really have that many egregious skins until like the final season, which is commendable. And again, this is why, and Sledgehammer did it with Modern Warfare 3. They're the reason why we got these goofy skins. And again, I guarantee you, Infinity Wood probably would have kept it more grounded in Modern Warfare 3 if they did it. But there is someone special in this multiplayer.
We set off to.
And so in this philosophy of multiplayer, I don't like that comment because we would trust. Yeah, right. Better lead. But I want to see someone's brought it up, but I don't see anybody that brought it up. But there is someone special, and I'll give you a little look at the person. They are right here. If you guys can see this guy right here. We're gonna see his name in a little bit. But he's a big reason why I got kind of excited, and why I reveal right now that I actually have pre-ordered the game. I revealed it earlier a little bit, but he's a big reason why I think I generally wanted to pre-order the game. I pre-ordered the Vault Edition. It's the first time I ever did that for any of these newer cards, but it's the first time since 2019 when I pre-ordered that game that I pre-ordered Call of Duty. Even Modern Warfare 2, which I liked. I generally like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. 2022. I generally did like it. I'll die on a hill. This guy I think is one of the biggest reasons why I pre-ordered the game. And we'll see his name in a little bit, but I just want to get into that. So let's watch this multiplayer.
We set off to make the best multiplayer arcade shooter we possibly could, and to us that meant modern warfare with unrestricted fluid movement, array of different types of equipment, kill streaks, guns, deep systems for you to engage with.
If the player wants to do something, they should be able to do it. When they pick up the sticks, we want them to go, oh shit.
I trust in Grisby.
When Mark and I took over Infinity Ward and we were talking about what our goal should be.
When I sat down with him, I was like, all right, Jack, so what do you want out of this?
We were both very passionate about the fact that it should be about making the best game possible.
I told him, I said, look, if you and I are doing this, you and I need to be on par with everything that we do.
Mark and I very quickly settled on the fact that it shouldn't be about our egos. It should be about make the best modern warfare the world has ever seen.
The game itself is fun as hell. I love playing the game. And one of the things that we've pushed since the beginning is if you're making the game, you need to play the game. But Fridays now is the play day, the play test day. Ain't nothing else.
I need help. Oh, they're pushing me. Oh my God. Full charge. Oh, nice. The house is ours. This is our house now.
Oh, fuck.
God. Oh, no. Dude, what?
Jack, there's a lot of money right in there.
We cannot lose the lead.
Gee, dude!
1v1. There we go. Well done.
How was the playtest the other day with the cross-studio playtest?
Movement. Definitely saw a big improvement.
The cross-studio
look who it is.
Movement.
It's Joseph C. Scott. Because I remember him. He was a big face in Ghost and Infinite Warfare, and I generally respect and like this guy. I'm glad he's still around in Infinity War. I think this is a good sign for the game.
Definitely saw a big improvement.
He's the studio MP director, which again I genuinely feel is a good sign because he's been here since Ghosts. He's a big face in Ghost and Infinite Warfare. He was prominent in Modern for 2019 too in the development cycle. He wasn't as much as the marketing as he was in other games. But I generally it's generally good to see a familiar face that's been with the studio since 2013. I think he was with them earlier, probably Modern Warfare 3, probably even earlier. But again, at least from the marketing perspective of a casual person like me, at least 2013. So it's really good to see that he's still sticking with Infinity War.
People were feeling like they felt more unrestricted. Still felt like it fit Modern Warfare.
It was cool to see people
sliding
over the cars that we.
I want to talk about this guy right here, Jack Hoppus. So, if you guys know me, I'm a big Blink-182 supporter. And this Jack Hoppus is Mark Hoppus' son. Yes, that is correct. This is Blink-182's Mark Hoppus' son. And he is a technical designer of the game. And I feel that having a young perspective on the game, like him, is a good thing. I generally respect the kid. I respect his dad. And I generally think and he's a big reason why I pre-ordered the game. I know it might be some 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 personal reason, but I generally am excited to have someone like him on the team. So yeah, I thought I'd just point out that this is Mark Hoppus' son. Mark Hoppus of Blink-182. This is his son. It's pretty cool.
It was rad to see people use our new movement tech and mantle in the slide, get on top of cars, or even use the new pipe climbing.
What I love is just how natural it feels. It's not like the movement.
They added pipe climbing. So remember Modern Warfare 2022, Modern Warfare 2, 2022, they added, mantling walls and hopping on walls and climbing them, and now they add pipe. So now we can actually climb pipes. Again, this is the kind of innovation and movement change that I think are beneficial. Unreal is a little over the top, especially in Modern Warfare 7, but this is perfect because now you can actually use the environment to you're using elements in the environment to traverse it and get to different positions and like enemies and move around. I generally think that this is a good innovation.
Options are difficult to wrap your head around. You just pick up the controller and you can.
I don't know if it's every pipe that you see, but generally though, I think pipes like that, even if it's just pipes like that, that just placed around the control pipes placed around the map. I still think that being able to have being able to blend it into the environment and saying, hey, you can use this pipe in the environment to climb up to this window, I think is generally a good, innovative choice to add, and much better than Obby movement.
Feel it instantly.
Yeah.
And so I think it's gonna feel natural to a casual player, and there's enough space where you can optimize and really
and master the movement. Yeah.
We got kind of.
I generally so look at that guy talking. I generally feel that this is that this team has a good mix of young perspective on the game and classic old perspective on the game. You have people like Grisby and Joe, and you have new people like this other young guy in Mark Hoppus' son, Jack Hoppus. You have younger perspective and views helping develop the game, and you have veteran perspective helping the also guiding these younger perspectives on the game design. And I generally feel that is a good sign for the game, and I generally think we should be excited. Again, I don't know what the skins. I think they claim they claim that they won't they'll keep it all grounded, but again, that is to be seen later on after season 1.
Dinged on Modern Warfare 2 with our movement, where we.
Yeah, he's addressing movement.
The movement. Yeah, we got kind of dinged on Modern Warfare 2 with our movement, where we took some things away, some freedom. People like, oh man, I can't do this. This doesn't feel good. The movement's terrible. So for this project, we were like, we need to make some adjustments.
We set off to make unrestricted movement at the beginning of this game. Then the ideas that started coming out of people like mantling into slide, the slide into supine, like all these kinds of ideas are like, that's awesome, let's put that in the game. And so I love all that stuff because the game just feels fluid, it feels dynamic, it feels like everything I want to do, the game responds. Like all the ideas from the team around movement, how to make it feel that way.
Okay, so I generally do think it's a good. I think it was great that Mo Crispy actually addressed a concern for Modern Warfare 2. Again, I didn't mind Modern Warfare 2's movement, but I generally do appreciate that he did listen to the community and say, hey, we understand that you guys don't like Modern Warfare 2's movement. We're gonna change it. Is this Omni movement? It looks like Omni movement. I don't think it's Omni movement. I think this is a more fluid, natural movement system that they've created from the ground up. Maybe taking elements from Omni movement, but it's not Omni movement. I think people aren't going to understand that, so I just want to make that very clear. I think this is a completely different movement system from Omni movement.
Fantastic.
Nice. He's behind the truck. Yeah.
Oh, Joel's still there. I was wondering if Joel was still there. So it looks like Joel Emsley's still there. Generally a good sign too. I generally respect that, and I'm glad he's still there.
Do it. Oh, nice. Last one and two. This way. You got it. You see two. Oh my God! Yes. Sorry, Joe. Yeah.
Again, down mid. It's an incredible experience, right? To be with a team that has, shipped so many titles, and that's great. Learning tools for me as a designer to have this, by proxy experience working with you guys and other people at the studio to say, here's how to be a better designer, and here's how, to really elevate your feature to the next level.
We might have some experience, but
we know how we failed.
We have to.
Yes. Right.
We have to make sure that we're not just saying like, we know what they're, this is, make the assumptions.
Yeah.
It's good with new people and new perspectives that.
What I just say, it's good to have the old perspective, the classic perspective, the veteran perspective. But like he's saying, it's good to have this new perspective, have younger perspectives on this game, and like people like Mark Opposite Son Jack. I think having them in this, bringing them in and giving them jobs here, I think is generally going to make the game a lot better. I definitely think there's a lot of innovation going to be happening, and I think it's going to be for the best. So yeah.
That can say, well,
Again, I want people to get this misconstrued. I'm not sponsored. I'm not paid. I'm not these big, COD YouTubers or streamers that go, yeah, this game is gonna be great or this game is insane. No, I'm giving you my actual damn opinions on this game, like straight up genuine opinions on what I feel is great, and what I think I think what is gonna lead this game to be a pretty decent Call of Duty game after a few years of just mediocre shit. I won't say shit because they weren't bad, but just mediocre games in the COD franchise from Modern Warfare 3 to Black Ops 7. I generally think that they were mediocre. I didn't play. I played Modern Warfare probably the longest out of the three. But Black Ops 7 I played maybe for like a couple weeks. Black Ops 6 I played for a couple months. I got to Prestige 2 I think in that game. And then I stopped. Black Ops 7 I barely played it. But yeah.
This might be better. This might be better, and it's a back and forth. Any maps jumping out to people?
Like Transit, I think it's your new masterpiece.
Transit is
fire.
Yeah.
What about K Block?
Kill Block.
Kill Block.
Kill Block.
That is a crazy map. Kill Block is kind of been an idea in my head.
Oh, of course. Okay, so what I heard is changed. It's like the new shipment. Of course, they're not going to talk about that. Of course, they're going to hide that. They obviously teased it a little bit, but of course, they're not actually going to dive deep into it because they don't want. They want to say that for the release of the game. But Kill Block. Let's see what you have to say about this new map, Kill Block. I'm very excited actually.
For a long time, I've made a ton of maps. So then you're eventually like, what's the next level? Like, how can you keep coming up with layouts? How can you keep coming up with maps? And it was like, shit, before we just make one that just is living and it keeps changing. Every time you play, it just changes.
And what Kill Block does is these three slabs. They're all built to kind of nest with any other three slabs, and we're able to randomize that at runtime when you're playing the game. When you play a multiplayer game.
This sounds like what they try to do with Ghosts. And a little bit with Advanced Warfare. It sounds like a very changing dynamic map. I'm generally curious to see how it plays. I hope they have an open beta, or I pre-ordered them, so I'll get access to the closed beta. But I generally want to know if that'll be in those betas because I generally want to play it now. Because the way they're describing it, I know some people will be like, "Oh, it just sounds like shit." But I generally want to kind of play it because the fact that they're talking about how they can, like, it's dynamically changing in real time every time you play it, it generally makes me curious on how that would be, So I generally want to see and play play it myself. I know. Again, I didn't get flown out. I didn't get invite. I'm a small ass YouTuber, a small ass streamer that is doing this purely out of me liking to play Call of Duty. You know, and again, these are my genuine, not paid off or sponsored, opinions on what they're developing right now. So
for a while, like you have this sense of discovery each time you play a new map, but that kind of quickly fades, right? You've played that map maybe 5-10 times. You're like, I get it. I know all the places. That never fades with Kill Block.
So each of these are an individual slab, some of them prototypes and some of them real. And so each of these is technically the size of some of our 2v2 maps, but when you get the 3 of them, it equals the size of Shoot House. We put out a map called Shoot House, and it was that size. With these slabs and with the combination system that we have, that is 100. We have the content to do upwards of 900. Tech-wise, we're trying to get to 500. Yeah. So
Kill Block is one of the things I'm like, as a player myself, I'm like, dude, I can see myself spending like hundreds and hundreds of hours in this.
If I could best describe Steve's playstyle, though, it's he'd land 2 shots and he'd be like, run away, just win on time.
Yeah.
Ramon,
I'm coming your way soon.
Oh, look who it is.
Oh, hey, Steve!
My play style is just winning.
Yeah, winning.
Just winning.
We just covered that.
We just established that that's not
Keyword win.
Yeah.
I'll see you at the playtest, guys.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Charge! Go. Come on, then. Use the smoke. Kill it!
Oh my god, dude.
Bam, one,
dude, he came up
two,
from behind me. What the hell?
Another one.
What? I fought like hell, you guys.
That's how we do it.
Oh, they got Grisby playing. They got Grisby playing.
Oh, we got it. Get it. Oh my god, not like this! Yeah, that's it.
Bam.
My god.
What happened? That's 490K.
Everybody, I think we learned something. All right? Griggs, we've learned something today, yes? Jackie, Jack, that's 6-0.
You know, we as a design team take a lot of feedback from everybody here at Infinity Ward, and it's like, we touch everything like, weapon feel and movement and stuff like that. So something that I really like too is like how playtest forward our studio is, right? Like we have this culture where every day we're playing our game and every day we're getting feedback and anyone can give feedback.
There's 2 types of players that I want to win. I want the like cracked player, but also like the smart player who's like thinking about how they're going to approach certain situations and being creative and catching people off guard. And I think if you have both of those people cooking, like you're in for a great game. I feel like this game is like a homecoming for me. And I feel like for players, I want, people that haven't been playing COD for a while and people that have been playing COD every year. Like I want all those people to come home.
Both Jack and I have been in the trenches, and we understand what it's going to take. And we are trying our best to push our team to make sure that they all are equipped with the strength, the knowledge, the support to be successful.
I'm generally excited for this game. I think from these developer kind of videos, these developer logs or whatever you want to call them, I am generally excited for this game. Again, I'm not telling you to do this. I'm not telling you to buy or pre-order the game. In fact, I will tell you this: wait to see the game launch. Wait for the game to come out. Even if you want, wait until the store gets added. The first season pass, not season pass, the first battle pass, the first block. So wait until you see what the microtransactions are going to be. If you at the most wait till the microtransactions. But if you want to wait at the very least, wait for the game to come out October 23rd. and check it out and give yourself an opinion. Check out the open beta if they do one. I think I generally think they will, but but when the open beta comes, check it out. Give the game a feel and try in the open beta, and make a decision for yourself. Do not pre-order like I did. I mean, I can't tell you not to. Actually, if you want to, pre-order it. If you don't want to, don't. Again, I pre-ordered it because I'm generally excited for it. But again, if you are hesitant, then just wait for the open beta. And if you like the open beta, if you don't like it, maybe give it a shot when it launches. But again, if you really want to wait it out, wait till the first microtransactions come from the store. Maybe, and again, if you really want to wait till season 2. But generally, I think the earliest I want you all to try to give it a chance is the open beta, whenever that is next, because I generally think that this game is going to be kind of fun. I have trust in Infinity Ward. I always do. I always find the games, even the weakest ones like Ghost and Infinite Warfare, I generally find them enjoyable. But again, this is just my opinion. Again, I am not sponsored. I'm not paid. I don't get flown out. Again, I'm not big enough for that. This is I am a genuine guy that generally is excited for this game and generally likes Infinity War Call of Duty games. I generally feel that in my opinion, that this game could be what helps Call of Duty get back on track. I got games like Battlefield 6 that came out and made it and should really and probably it has influenced the development of this game a little bit and how they're going to approach it. But yeah, I generally think this game's going to be exciting. And again, I think the fact that Mark Hoppus' son, Jack Hoppus, is part of the development team made me want to pre-order. And yeah, that's all for the stream tonight, guys. I don't have anything else to say. Again, I spent too much time putting together that drum set or drum kit. Maybe I'll post this on my YouTube as like a uncut video, as uncut reaction. But I hope you all enjoyed this stream. Like I said, I didn't have time to record anything. But yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this stream, and I will see you all beautiful people for the next stream, guys, and in the next video. Peace.